This
is a job interview at a shipping container factory. Each applicant has to complete 30 push-ups to qualify. It's not easy being a factory worker these days. Factories are the ones choosing workers now, not the other way around. A lot of people will probably fail the interview today.
One thing that stood out about the 2025 Chinese New Year was that many people who went home early for the holiday also returned to the cities early to look for jobs. Many workers say the main reason is the sluggish economy and fierce job competition. On February 4th, the last day of the Chinese New Year holiday, many places saw a surge in return travel. At Changsha South Railway Station in Hunan, a man collapsed while waiting in line for a high-speed train. He lost consciousness and suffered a sudden cardiac arrest. Fortunately, after 20 minutes of emergency treatment, he regained consciousness, but the first thing he said after waking up was, "I need to get to work." This left many people online feeling emotional, with some commenting, "Why don't workers value their own lives?" According to Chinese media reports, the man may have sustained external injuries when he collapsed, and doctors didn't rule out the possibility of a brain hemorrhage. Following the doctor's advice, he was taken to the hospital in an ambulance. After this video went viral, many online comments reflected the harsh realities of life. Mortgage, car loans, elderly parents, young kids. What choice do we have? People are being pushed to their limits. Others questioned, the point of working is to live, but if you ruin your health, what's the purpose of work? Everything is too competitive now. People are being forced into a never-ending cycle of stress, to the point where even their lives are at stake. Mr. Chin, a worker in Shenzhen, told foreign media that most factories don't start operating until after the 15th day of the new year. This year, more formal factories will start no later than the 8th or 10th day. If you go back too late, you might miss out on job opportunities. He also pointed out that competition is intense. Last year, Guangzhou's local unemployment rate was as high as 37%, which is worse for migrant workers. The pressure is getting heavier, and jobs are harder to secure. He said, if you lock in a job early, it's one less thing to worry about. Of course, everyone would love to stay home a little longer. Many people are already back at work before the holiday even ends, but plenty are still unemployed. One person posted a video saying, "It's already the 8th day of the new year. Is everyone working already? Am I the only one feeling lost?" A real estate vlogger in Chengdu commented, "Job competition in 2025 is terrifying."
How was your holiday? Here's a harsh truth. 2025 will be the toughest job market in decades. If you're young and don't have a stable career, stop wasting time. It's time to get serious. Every year, 12 million university graduates enter the job market. Think a degree makes you safe? Think again. Over 1 million PhD and master's grads, plus millions from vocational schools, are job hunting too. And companies are laying people off. Last year alone, millions lost their jobs, with tens of millions looking for work. The situation is severe. I was back at work by the 4th day of the new year, yet some are still at home playing mahjong. Are you still living off last year's savings? China has replaced one generation of cheap laborers with a new wave of cheap university grads. You spent years studying, yet some of you now earn less than workers with only a primary school education. Supporting a family? Forget it. Companies can hire fresh grads for 3,500 yuan a month, but skilled factory workers are scarce. And the worst part? These struggling grads are the children of laborers who sacrifice everything for them, only to end up earning even less.
China's economy has been worsening in recent years, with malls becoming emptier and small businesses struggling to survive. Wave after wave of closures has hit. In 2024, nearly 3 million restaurants shut down, the highest number ever recorded. More than 14,600 semiconductor companies also went out of business. The clothing industry is barely holding on. In December alone, 26 factory owners in Xuchun Town, Zhejiang, fled due to financial difficulties. With foreign investors pulling out, even the factories that haven't closed are relocating to Southeast Asia. A vlogger shared a breakdown of this year's grim job market. According to data from Zhaopin, a leading recruitment platform, the employment rate for 2024 university graduates was only 55.5%. That means nearly half of all graduates are struggling to find a job. The irony is that at age 30, you're considered too old for a job, while at 60, you're told you're too young for retirement. Meanwhile, artificial intelligence is rapidly replacing traditional jobs. So why is it so hard for college graduates to find work? The vlogger believes there are several reasons behind the tough job market. First, the rapid expansion of universities and the downturn in the real estate sector have created a mismatch in the job market. In 2025, the number of university graduates in China will exceed 12.2 million, a record high. Second, there are major problems in China's higher education system. Many students pick their majors blindly. In the past, booming industries like real estate, finance, and e-commerce attracted a flood of students. But now that those bubbles have burst, graduates from these fields are struggling to find jobs. Meanwhile, industries in urgent need of talent, such as semiconductors, AI, and new energy, are facing shortages because the education system hasn't adapted fast enough to train professionals in these emerging fields. The third reason is cultural. Many Chinese parents who worked on assembly lines in cities like Dongguan and Suzhou endured years of hardship so that their children wouldn't have to follow the same path. When their kids graduate from college only to end up in factories, these parents find it difficult to accept. The fourth reason is the harsh working conditions in many domestic factories, which some say are even worse than the standards set for prisoners of war under the Geneva Conventions. Many factory owners still use outdated management practices. Some places require approval just to use the restroom or get a drink of water. These conditions deter many young workers. What's worse, job postings often promise salaries over 10,000 yuan a month, but in reality, the base pay is only around 3,000 to 4,000 yuan. To earn more, workers have to put in extreme amounts of overtime. As a result, more and more Chinese workers are choosing to go abroad in search of better pay and conditions. This has led to a paradox in today's job market. Job seekers complain they can't find work, while companies say they can't find workers. This is the toughest year yet. Due to the global economic situation, 33 Japanese companies have urgently relocated their factories from China to Vietnam, leaving 400,000 people unemployed. In Shanghai, Shenzhen, and Guangdong alone, 600,000 people are struggling to find work. Apple's supply chain factories aren't getting enough orders. Remember last year when 20,000 people lost their jobs overnight? Now 4.6 million factories across China have no orders and are on the brink of collapse. The biggest unemployment wave in Chinese history is here. Even companies that were always hiring, like Foxconn, Asus, Wistron, Pegatron, Li Xun, Greenpoint, and Sharp, have stopped recruiting. If you have a job, hold on to it. If you're thinking about switching factories, ask your wallet first. Can you afford it?
你信不信？过完年啊，找
Believe it or not, once the holiday ends and the job search rush begins, many people will fall for scams. Just now, someone called me and asked, "Are you a recruitment agency or direct hire for the factory?" I told him, "I work in labor dispatching." He immediately replied, "Oh, so you're just a middleman," and hung up on me. These people think they're smart and insist on finding direct hire jobs through factory HR managers or company recruiters. But guess what? They're the ones who end up getting scammed. There are almost no real direct hire factory jobs anymore, especially for older workers over 40. Factories mainly hire through labor dispatch agencies like ours. Factory HR managers don't have time to personally walk you through job details.
2025年。
A vlogger specializing in labor dispatching commented, "Will the job market in 2025 be optimistic? From what I see, a strange trend is spreading. Over the past few days, I've spoken with many business owners and HR managers. They've all significantly reduced hiring, and their job requirements are stricter than ever. If you're in the workforce, you better be prepared." One netizen summed it up, "The economy is bad and there's nowhere left to work. Those of us without degrees or skills are being left behind. I'm heading overseas. I'm going to the Philippines."
My wife stays home while I work abroad. I couldn't find a job in China, so I left. The economy is bad, and even temp jobs are scarce. People like me, on the margins of society, are the first to be pushed out. I took a train to Wuhan. Because of China-Philippines tensions, my flight was nearly empty. Few Chinese passengers. Looking down, I saw the Scarborough Shoal, a reminder of its strategic importance. Many hope for war, to test China's strength or to start fresh. But war only makes ordinary people suffer. Experts will just talk, and the rich will move their money overseas. At customs, they are randomly checking Chinese travelers.
In recent years, driving for ride-hailing services or delivering food has been seen as a fallback option for those who can't find a better job. But industry insiders say the new year also marks the start of a slow season, and the ride-hailing business isn't as promising as people imagine.
Now that the holiday rush is over, work is picking up, but business slows down. Before the holiday, 600 to 1,000 yuan a day was easy. Now, expect a 50% cut. If you're making 600, now it's 400. If you struggled before, 200 to 300 is a new normal. Jobs are scarce, and ride-hailing has no entry barriers, so more drivers are joining. Those who wanted to quit are still here, and a flood of new drivers is entering. Expect fares to keep dropping and competition to rise. If you're in this for the long haul, prepare for a tough road ahead.
Mr. Lin from Hunan has been working in Guangzhou for years, but after returning to his rural hometown last year, he never went back. He now stays home to take care of his child while doing occasional odd jobs. Having previously worked in the electronics industry, he says that finding work is tough and getting fair wages is even harder. He told foreign media that many college graduates are struggling to find jobs and are now turning to low-paying physical labor, such as food delivery and courier services. But even those jobs aren't easy to secure anymore. With more people entering the gig economy, competition will only get fiercer in the coming years. According to the latest data from China's state-run Internet Information Center, the number of online food delivery users has reached 545 million, about half of all Internet users in China. This number far surpasses other countries. State media has been praising the industry, highlighting that over 80 million food delivery orders are placed in China every day, making it the world's largest food delivery market. They claim that the industry is rapidly rising, with trillions in related consumption, and is creating unseen miracles. But while officials glorify food delivery jobs, they ignore the hardships faced by workers. Some netizens questioned, if everyone is delivering food, who's left to order it? Others commented, are people choosing the struggle, or is the system forcing them into it? Others added, the best labor force in our society is stuck doing the most mindless jobs. What a shame. The truth is, due to the economic downturn, many food couriers and ride-hailing drivers in China's major cities were once middle-class workers who lost their jobs. Many are also recent college graduates who can't find stable employment. Official reports show that in Hefei alone, over 100,000 people now hold ride-hailing licenses, yet more than 45% of these cars operate without passengers for much of the time. In Beijing, the number of food delivery workers in the first half of last year surged by an astonishing 49.7% compared to the previous year, while restaurant industry profits plunged by nearly 90%. On July 21, 2024, in the streets of Shanghai, 2 traffic officers stopped a food delivery worker wearing his uniform. They first snatched his phone, then took away his e-bike keys, seemingly trying to confiscate his vehicle. The worker, in a fit of rage, threw one of the officers to the ground and pinned him down. He shouted in anger, "Are you forcing me to rebel? Are you pushing me to the edge?" On September 6, 2024, in Hangzhou, Zhejiang Province, a food delivery worker in his 50s was found dead, slumped over his parked e-bike. He had collapsed while on the job. On the night of November 5, 2024, in Shanghai, another delivery worker was caught violating traffic rules. Stopped by the police, he fell to his knees, begging for mercy. He said, "Please, I beg you, let me go. I can't survive at the bottom anymore." Given the worsening job market, a vlogger recently shared her thoughts. The Year of the Snake, 2025, has officially begun. I have some advice for those grinding their way through graduate school entrance exams. Even if you earn a master's degree, you'll still have to enter the job market and face the same competition as your undergraduate peers. The reality is, the competition never gets easier. So why not take a shortcut? I suggest considering going abroad. There are several benefits. First, you can quickly accumulate savings in a short period. Second, going overseas broadens your horizons. Once you step outside China, your perspective changes, and your thinking expands. After 2 or 3 years, you can choose to stay abroad or return home. If you come back, your experience as a returnee will give you an advantage, making you more competitive in the job market. Plus, with the money you've saved, you'll have more confidence in yourself. However, overseas graduates are no longer as coveted as before. In the past, returnees were highly sought after for government positions, but in recent years they have been increasingly excluded from selective government recruitment platforms. This year, Beijing and Guangdong have outright shut their doors to foreign-educated applicants. Dr. Feng Chengyi, an associate professor of Chinese studies at the University of Technology, Sydney, noted that overseas returnees are facing growing discrimination from authorities. He believes this reflects the Chinese Communist Party's increasing distrust of the outside world. By excluding returnees from government jobs, China risks isolating itself once again. A new trend has emerged in early 2025. Artificial intelligence and robotics have suddenly become a major topic of discussion. Beneath the hype lies a chilling reality for workers. Not only are humans locked in a brutal competition for jobs, but now robots are starting to take those jobs too.